Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 45. In this lesson, we will introduce the student to the 1-1-1 rule. Let's get started by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the card pack for the student, some blank cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the 5 keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. Notice that you will have added the sounds of C and the sounds of G. To know what those cards are, you can simply refer to your lesson plan. You'll have cut out all of the cards and set them up on the table for the syllable card drill. We're doing a 3-syllable word drill today. Then for the magnetic letter tile drill for reading and spelling, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllable sheet, the single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing portion of the lesson. In addition to all that, in the new content part of the lesson, we'll be introducing the 1-1-1 rule. So you'll have to cut out the cards for that drill. And then we'll also have a drill to review another concept, and that'll be the hard and soft sounds of G and C. In addition to all of that, you might have a timer on the table, and that will be for if you've decided that it's time to introduce the fluency part of the lesson. And once the student has solid phonemic awareness and decoding, then we introduce fluency, and you'll need a secondary program to do that, such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. To learn more about that, refer to lesson 33. It's time for the sight word study method. Student, can you take out your card pack for this one? All right, I'd like you to read through each of your sight words. When you get one correct, you will put a check in the corner of the card. Once you're finished reading all of the cards, then give the card pack to your teacher, and it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and you will write them down. When you get one correct, in the other corner of the card, you can put another check. After you finish, have a quick discussion to determine if any of the words have been mastered. And if they have been, then you can remove them from the card pack. This leaves you space, so if you have time, you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the short vowel drill. You'll need your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. The first one is apple. So you're going to take 2 fingers and trace the apple, saying apple, then underline it and say the sound of that short vowel, ah. And then you move on to Eddie, eh. Do that as many times as your teacher tells you to. And then you can move on to the keyword sentence. And you're going to say the sentence and stretch out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. You're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Take out a tile and call it G. Can you repeat that sound? Okay. Take out a tile and call it ah. Put it right after the G. And take out a tile and call it T. Can you repeat that sound? Put it after the ah. Now tap it and say it. What's your word? Did you get got? If you did, that's right. Okay, find the G in got. Are you touching it? Change the G into a K. And what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get caught? If you did, that's right. That would be like I lay down on the cot and went to sleep. Okay, if that's caught, find the ah in caught. Change the ah into an ah. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get cat? If you did, that's right. Okay. Now, I'd like you to take a new color and call it ul. Put the ul right after the k And what's your new word? It'll be a nonsense word. Did you get clat, as in clutter? If you did, that's right. Okay, find the k in clat and change it to a b. Now tap it and say it. Did you get blat? If you did, that's right. Find the a in blat and change the a into an I. What's your new word? Another nonsense one. Tap it and say it. Did you get blit? If you did, that's right. Let's add a new color. Call it n. Can you repeat that sound? Put the n right before the k. Sorry. Put the n right before the t in blit. And what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get blint? If you did, that's right. Another nonsense word. Now let's take away the t in blint. And what are you left with? Did you get blin? Okay, let's turn this into a real word. We're going to add a k onto the end of blin. Now tap it and say it. As you do this, you're going to find that is sound changes a little bit. Did you get blink? If you did, that's right. Great job. You can put your tiles away. Let's do the visual card drill. You're going to need your grapheme card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card and the student says the sound. Here we go. What sound does this one make? Now for this one, you could say k, a, ka, as in cot, or you could say ko because it is an open syllable. So we've only ever taught you the closed one so far, so I only expect the ka. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards just like that, and then come back to me. Now let's do the auditory drill. Student, you're going to use the same card pack for this one. The teacher holds the card pack but doesn't reveal the card yet. The teacher says, your sound is S. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now how would you write S? And you might know multiple ways to do this. So write as many as you know. As you write them, say the sound again, S, and then underline it and say the sound one more time. Then we'll check your work. You could say CI, or you could say SI for that one as well. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 cards in this way and then come back to me. Let's do the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one cut out and all ready to go on the table for you. You'll read down all the syllables in column number 1, then all the syllables in column number 2, and then all the syllables in column number 3. Then you'll read across the rows to make nonsense words. Then it's time you can leave the column 1 syllables as they are and just unscramble the second and third column syllables to make real words. As you're doing this, remember to talk about the meanings and put some of those words into sentences. Do some syllable pounding. Student, you can stretch out your arm and you're going to tap your arm and shoot out a finger every time you hear a syllable happen. And if you'd rather, you can use this method of putting your hand under your chin, and every time a syllable happens, your jaw hits your hand. So your choice. Your syllable is mag. How many syllables in that one? I just hear the ah sound in mag. So there's 1 syllable. How about this one? Magnetic. Did you say 3? Magnetic. That's correct. How about this one? Inhabit. How many now? I hear 3 in that one. Okay, how about this one? Census. There's 2 in that one. And then how about this? Invalid. How many? I hear 3 in that one. Okay, good work. We've been working on the sounds of G and C. Could you tell me, what are the 2 sounds of C? Did you say k, as in the same sound that the letter K makes, and s, which is the same sound the letter S makes? If you did, that's right. What are the two sounds of G? It has a hard sound and a soft sound. Let's start off with the hard sound. So what's the hard sound of G? Did you say G? If you did, that's right. And what's the soft sound of G? Well, it makes the same sound as the letter J. J. Can you say that sound? So how do we know if it's going to be a hard sound or a soft sound that these two letters are going to make? Can you have a quick discussion with your teacher about which vowels can soften the G and C? Did you say E, I, and Y can soften a G and C? If you did, that's right. So when the G is followed by an E, I, or Y, it will say its J sound, and the C will say S. If it's followed by any of the other vowels, A, O, or U, it will say its hard sound. We've got a quick sort to work through so that we can review these sounds. Your teacher will show you a word that's cut out on a card, and you'll tap it and say the word, and then you'll sort it according to, is this a soft G sound or C sound, or a hard sound? Next up is our scooping syllables sheet. Can you take that one out? It's got the 3 words on it, and you probably don't have time to scoop all 3 words, but your teacher is keeping a track of the time here, so your teacher will let you know how many there's time to do. So choose the word you want to start on, and you'll probably also need your scooping syllables instruction sheet as well. And you'll begin by dotting the vowels. Let's move into the new content part of the lesson. Today we're going to talk about a new spelling rule. You're going to need your rule card for this one. This new spelling rule is called the 1-1-1 rule. So take that sheet out. And let's talk about what this means. It says if we have a 1-syllable base, and that base ends in 1 consonant, and it's preceded, so right before that consonant there's 1 short vowel, then if I want to add an ending that starts with a vowel, so a suffix is an ending, Ed is going to put tan in the past. So I will tan today, or I tanned yesterday. If I want to do that, then because this one starts with a vowel, and this one is following all 3 parts of the 1-1-1 rule, 1 syllable, 1 final consonant with 1 short vowel right before it, that means that I have to double the final consonant. So tanned has 2 N's. Okay, let's look at that with another example. Okay, so let's apply the rule again. Let's say I've got the word tent, and I say t-e-n-t. I want to add the suffix, the ending, ed. So let's apply our rule. Is tent 1 syllable? Yes, it is. Does tent end in 1 consonant? Oh, it doesn't, does it? So it has 2 babysitters, 2 consonants at the end. So we are in a situation where the rule doesn't apply. So in that case, we're just going to slam on the ending. So tented is spelled that way. So in this rule, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a situation where there's 2 babysitters at the end of the word. We do this because we want to make it really clear that ed is the ending and that this E is part of a closed syllable. Okay, so let's practice applying the rule. We've got the drill all set up on the table, and the first thing you'll do is tap it and say it. So in this one we have stop, stop. And then we apply the spelling rule. Well, first of all, I guess we'll decide which suffix we want to use. So let's pick ing in this case. Stop, ing. And then we apply our 1-1-1 rule. The spelling rules most often happen right in that space between when the base ends and when the suffix starts. So we say, is it 1 syllable in the base? Yes, it is. Is there one short vowel followed by one consonant? Yes, it is. So we want to put a big barrier between the vowel and stop and that vowel that starts ing. So we're going to double the P. There are lots of cards there, and your teacher's keeping an eye on the time, so your teacher will tell you how many you can actually do in the drill. And that's how you do it, so you can get started. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for a reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your magnetic letter tile spread in a rainbow shape. Your sound is W. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Eh. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is T. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. What do you have? Did you get wet? When I jump in the pool, I get wet. If you did, that's correct. We'd like to add a suffix ending onto wet. So let's turn wet into wet-ing. So can you take out the correct tiles for ing? All right, and now we want to apply the 1-1-1 spelling rule to see if wet-ing is spelled correctly. So ask yourself, is wet one syllable? Is there one consonant at the end in wet? And right before that ending consonant, is there one short vowel? Okay, does ing begin with a vowel? If all those things are true, then the doubling rule kicks in, the 1-1-1 rule kicks in, and you double the T. Did you spell wetting W-E-T-T-I-N-G? If you did, that's correct. Good job. Okay, let's try a new word. Your sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is P. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. What do you have? Did you get rap? Rap is a type of music. If you did, that's right. Now let's turn rap into rap-ing. So I want to add the suffix ing. Take out the tiles for that suffix ending ing. And then apply the 1-1-1 rule. So you look at your base and you decide, is the 1-1-1 rule applying? And then you look at your suffix and ask if it starts with a vowel. Okay. And how did you spell it? Did you spell it R-A-P-P-I-N-G? If you did, that's correct. Good job. Teacher, if there's time, you could do another word in this way. And if there's not, then we'll just move on. So you can pull out the single word list and have the student read through the single word list and then read through the short story. After that, if you're at a point where fluency needs to get added to the program, then that's where you'll put it. And if you'd like to learn more about when to add fluency, then refer to the start of lesson 33. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. So you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Student, your word is stop. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I stopped my car at the stop sign. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in stop? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in stop? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in stop? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in stop? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you get S-T-O-P? If you did, that's right. Now I would like to turn stop into stopping. So find the suffix ending, find the correct tiles for the ing, and pull them down. And now you need to apply the 1-1-1 rule to see if we need to double anything. Okay, how'd you spell it? Did you spell it Stopping? If you did, that's right. All right, put your tiles away and let's try a new word. Your word is pass. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will pass the soccer ball to another player. Pass. What's the first sound that you hear in pass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in pass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in pass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now think about any spelling rules that we've used in the past that might kick in this word. And change your spelling accordingly. And tap it and say it. Did you spell pass P-A-S-S? This is where that doubling rule for F, L, S, and Z in one syllable closed syllable rules kicks in. All right, so we've got pass spelled correctly, and we want to turn pass into passing. Okay, so add the suffix ing, and then apply the 1-1-1 rule. How would you spell passing? Did you spell it P-A-S-S-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. We don't have to do any doubling in this because the S is already doubled. There's two consonants at the end of that closed syllable. So it's very clear that that's a closed syllable. When we add the ing, it doesn't confuse anything. So we are good. So passing is P-A-S-S-I-N-G. Great job. Now take out a lined paper and a pencil, and we're going to do some writing of single words. To do this, you will tap it and say the sounds, and then grab the whole word and say the whole word, and then you'll write it down. If you would prefer, you could use your arm or your leg or your hand, and you could trace the shape of the letter, saying the sound of the letter, and then grab the whole word, say the whole word, and write it down. So those are your two options. Okay, I'm going to say the whole word, so you're going to have to hear the base and the suffix. Your word is humming. Can you repeat that word? All right, let's use it in a sentence. There was a hummingbird at the feeder. You want to think of it in two parts. You want to think of it as a base and a suffix. So the base in that word is, did you say hum? That's right. And what's the suffix? Ing. So spell it in two parts. Tap out hum, and then tap out ing, and then apply any spelling rules that need to get applied and write it down. Okay, teacher check the spelling and discuss the spelling rule that would get applied there. And you should have spelled it H-U-M-M-I-N-G. Okay, let's try this one. Camping. I will go camping this weekend. Can you say camping? Okay, and once again, we want to separate it into a base and a suffix when we're trying to spell it. So tap out the base, then tap out the suffix, and then try and write it down. Okay, how'd you spell this one? Did you spell it C-A-M-P-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Explain to your teacher why we don't have to double the P in this one. All right, teacher, if there's any extra time right now, you could do some more words in this way. And if not, then it's time to move on to writing sentences. There are 3 sentences. The teacher reads all 3 to the student, and the student chooses the 2 that will be written. Student, you'll write a sentence, and then you will use CHOPS to check your work. Do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about the sounds of G and C, and how each one has 2 sounds. The sound is determined, whether it's soft or hard, by whatever vowel is following that letter. How would you read this word? Tap it and say it. And then tell your teacher which letters have the ability to soften the G into the just sound. In the new content part of the lesson, we learned about a new rule. This is called the 1-1-1 rule. And it's a rule that we use when we're adding suffixes onto closed syllables. So let's tap this word and say it. Sun. And I would like to add an ending ed, sund. So this is a suffix that starts with a vowel. I ask myself, is this a one-syllable base? Yes, it is. Is there one short vowel followed by only one consonant? That is all true. So in this case, if I wanted to spell sun, I would have to double the N. And that's how you spell sund. The cat sunned on the roof. Okay, great job today. That is the end of lesson 45. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.